Hey everybody. So I was working on a bike at the shop the other day. Had a Microshift derailleur and shift system. We're going to replace the cable on it. So this is a 7-speed system, and I already have the cable disconnected there. So then I decided I would make a video just because I thought this might be helpful to somebody who's trying to replace a cable on these, because it seemed a little tricky when I first was looking at it. Got the cable loose, and I didn't really initially see a spot where the cable came out, but if you push the small lever forward, you can see the little cable entry and exit port. So it kind of snaps into place. So you could see I had put a little bit of force on it to break it free, and then from there, if you just, I'm doing it one-handed here, holding the camera. So if you just kind of spin the cable, inner cable there, it'll come out through that little hole. From there, just pull it out, and you're ready to put the new cable in. So make sure your adjusting barrel is all the way counterclockwise, and just double make sure you're all the way in the furthest, the smallest cog, or in the position to the holes lined up where you can slide your inner wire through. So if you look through there, you can see the daylight through the other side. But it can be a little tricky to push it through. Sometimes, again, you just kind of rotate the cable and it'll push it out through the other side there, through the adjusting barrel. So I used a Shimano replacement stainless steel cable, where it's a little nicer than just the zinc plated steel cable that was in there before. So you can see this guy just pops right into place there once you pull the inner wire through. So I used a Shimano stainless steel cable just to replace it with, and so I'm measuring. This is just one long strand of cable housing. So basically just measured it out. It seemed like an appropriate length. If you have different, you have like 3 chunks of housing, you may have to measure those out, or just mock it up to the bike and fit that up as well. As in, just hold the bare housing up to the frame or the bike and determine the appropriate length. So anyway, there's a little Teflon tube that runs through the center of these housings, and you want to take a little pick and open that up before you press your little ferrule caps on the end of the housing there. So you can see I got that guy opened up. In this case, one long chunk of housing, we've got 2 ferrules, so we're just going to press that guy right onto it depends on the cable and the ferrule. Some of them are a little trickier than others, but you want to just push that thing down against something solid, usually until you feel it completely bottom out and hit the back end or the end of the ferrule there. So depending on the housing, if I'm just using old housing and a new inner wire, I'll maybe put some kind of lubricant, Triflow, Slick Honey, something like that. But these housings have the Shimano, the SP41 Shimano. They're pre-lubricated, I guess, with the Shimano lubricant, so I didn't put any additional lubricant in there. But again, I've got the little ferrule on that end, and now I'm going to fish this long piece through this Cannondale frame. So I left the ferrule off. I do have the rubber piece. It's a little grommet that fits into that little hole where I'm fitting it through. So make sure if you're doing this type of situation, make sure you put that guy back on the cable housing. And so that thing slid through pretty easily. You could see it came out through the back end, and so from here you just pull it through and go underneath that the little plastic cable guide there, and once you get everything cinched up and tightened down, you can tighten that little screw down to hold it in place. So I've got 3 zip ties around the cable off camera, and so now I'm putting my ferrule on. Again, sometimes you can just press these on. One little handy tool, these 4th hand tools, you can kind of smush them on there like that. Just get the cable, try not to damage the inner wire, but these work pretty good to slide the ferrule onto the housing. So this is one common area where I've seen, if you home mechanics make a mistake is, well, one thing I'll do here is just give it a little tug and then test out the shifter, make sure it's functional and all the end pieces are down into the adjusting barrels or wherever the cable stops. And so you got this piece here, there's the little tab that leans over, and then there's a little the other tab that's flat, and you can see a serrated edge, so that cable's going to go underneath there like so. A lot of times that no turn washer thing can get turned 90 degrees, and you know, it seems logical that the cable would go under that little bent over piece, but it doesn't. You want it butted up against it there. So this one, it ended up pretty dialed in. If you just look, you're going to do some fine-tune adjustments potentially with your barrel adjuster. So just look at the distance between the two opposing cogs. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but you know, you're really seeing it from a one-dimensional angle where your eyes see it kind of two-dimensionally. But you want to basically line your chain up where there's an equal distance between the two opposing cogs. And I'll put a little link here to a little more in-depth details of adjusting an indexed rear derailleur, pretty much any style. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you found the video interesting, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.